Hi, I'm Stacy of Stacy Creates Stuff, and this is my very first Flosstube. So I am not new to cross stitch. It was probably one of the first needle crafts that I did as a child. I definitely did some needlepoint and cross stitch and some hand sewing and learned to machine sew. Then I got into knitting and crochet, and I was big into knitting when I was in high school. And then when I went on to college, I got back into cross stitch for a while. And I was intrigued by complicated patterns. And so I did several Teresa Wensler pieces. She has a carousel horse series, and somewhere in my house, I have them rolled up in a tube, waiting to be totally finished. The final finish, I think, is the terminology. I think otherwise they're stitched. I'm not really sure because it's been 30 some years. But one of the projects that I started in 1992, it's probably before some of you were even born. But anyway, I try not to get the glare on it, but I have the Castle Sampler, which is lovely. And when I purchased the pattern and all the supplies, I told myself that this was going to be a 30-year project. And I worked on it for a number of years, and then I had kids. So that was the end of that. And I put it away. Well, my kids are grown now, so I figured it was time to get it back out. Actually, I got it back out probably 2 years ago. And that was when I realized that was year 30. I was like, yes, I can do it. I can finish it. I was streaming on Twitch at the time. And I thought, oh, great, I'll work on it every week, get a little bit done, work for a few hours on it. And then I stopped live streaming and I set it aside again. And now it's been more than 30 years. But I don't think I'm the only person who has a 30-year project in the Flosstube world. Watching a lot of Flosstubers, I realized that these are my people. They love to start stuff, and they don't care how long it takes to finish. Some of them work on a project like once a year, or for a couple of times a month, but that 1 month each year. So I'm already loving the Flosstube community. They are my people. Anyhow, this is my work in progress. And it is probably the only work in progress I have at the moment. And not that I am a monogamous stitcher. I mean, I'm certainly not a monogamous quilter or knitter or crocheter or embroiderer or any other craft that I do. Because I kind of put cross stitch away for so long, it's really the only project that I came across that I have started, and I need to finish it. But looking at it when I dusted it back off and got it back out in order to film this, it is a sampler, so there is an alphabet that goes around the perimeter. And apparently last time I had this out, I did stitch one of the letters. And looking at it now, I don't think I like it. Now, I'm not scrapping the whole thing. I'm just going to frog out that letter, and I'm possibly going to frog out another little part, which I'll show you in a moment. And the reason is this. It, of course, calls for, let's see what it calls for. 25 counts, although you could do it on other counts as well, of Ivory Laguna from Zweigart. And I'm stitching it on Aida. And the little letters are done one strand over one by one over one, whatever the terminology is. And on Aida cloth, that looks like crap. So I'm just going to take that out. And I have a solution. So here in the corners, you might be able to see that there are some flowers and vines that look like they're a continuation of this larger inner border here. So I'm just going to do that in all of these blocks as if the vines are coming through. I can figure that out because the other stitches, full stitches, 2/1 on Aida, look just fine. So I think that is going to be the solution. And I only did one letter, so I'm glad that I did because now I can figure it out. So just so we have a place to know where to go next time, and that might be a week, it might be 2 weeks when I do my next Flosstube. I have some stitching to do along this border, and then I really need to start figuring out how I'm going to fill in these little squares here, pulling from this beautiful Florentine border. I love that. It's one of my favorite pieces. So many colors though. So many colors. I think there's like 3 or 4 greens, and then there's these little flowers that are 2 shades of purple, pink, but I believe that each one of those is actually made up of 2 different colors of floss. So yeah. So I'm going to start cross stitching again. And of course, in watching all of these Flosstubes and now starting to follow Flosstubers, I was watching Lindy Stitches give her market preview. So of course I had to go and order a lovely design from, I think it's Tiny Modernist. I will put it here. And I love it. It's a typewriter and it florals. It's gorgeous. It's another big piece. But you know what? Apparently, if you're a cross stitcher, you can just start as many projects as you want. Yes. So I'm going to do that. And when it comes in, it won't come for another few weeks. Then I will do another Flosstube and give you an update on the progress of my castle sampler and what I plan to use for the Tiny Modernist. And I can't remember the name of it. You'll see it there again. I also ordered some blue linen. I think it was linen. Pretty sure it was linen for a project that I designed. Because my favorite thing of all crafting is designing. I love to design. So a few years ago, Spoonflower had they do a weekly contest challenge, they call it, weekly challenge. And one was to design a fabric. They do fabric and wallpaper. So it could be on either fabric or wallpaper. And it would be based on cross stitch. So I did. And it looks okay and it looks kind of dumb on fabric actually, because I made it look like real cross stitches. And I think I have it a couple different scales. But you know what? I designed it as if it was a cross stitch. I should try and stitch it. So I picked out my threads for that. And I will show you those in a moment. But I'm not going to show you the design yet because I need to stitch it. And I think I'm going to practice stitching it on just some regular linen. In cleaning out yet more drawers of stuff, I discovered, and I knew I had this, I just didn't know exactly what I had. I didn't bring it in here. But I have, I think, 4 different fabrics, a linen, a monk's cloth, hardanger cloth, and I think maybe I have a couple of linens. So I was like, well, perfect. And I have like yards. So I believe there may have been a time when I first started my shop in the year 2000 that we were going to carry some needle arts type of thing. We started as a quilting shop, but my business partner that I opened the store with, she was into doing some other needlework that I hadn't done before. And I think we got in some of those specialty cloths to do some of those things. But anyway, I have those. And of course, I went to Michael's to see if they happened to have any blue anything so that I really want to do a practice one before the good linen comes. They did not. So I've considered dyeing my own cloth, whether it be Ada cloth or one of these other cloths, and trying that. My design requires a blue background. But alas, they did not, because I live in rural America and my little Michael's doesn't sell blue Ada cloth or blue linen or blue anything. They actually had a green, but not a blue. So anyhow, you'll have to hang out, check back for that. So if you are new to my channel, I just want to let you know that I do lots of different needle arts here. A lot of quilting, which I'm getting back into, having taken about a 10-year hiatus from that. So I have several tutorials on my channel for that. And I also do embroidery. So there's some of that, including tutorials and updates. And then I have a weekly vlog where I fill you in on all the things that I have done. But I thought it would be best to have a separate video of Flosstube for when I'm talking cross stitch. That way the cross stitchers can just watch those. And if you're not into cross stitch, you can skip those. So that is where we are with that. All right. So I will see you another time for a Flosstube. This is super short, I realize. But next time it'll probably be longer. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.